I'll give you a brief synopsis of what I've been up to, what I've been doing the last year, and then if you guys have any questions. I grew up in Bensalem. I used to live right across the street from Bensalem, you know, that old neighborhood with the houses, literally right across the street. And then we moved to the back of the school. Now my folks still live in Crossroads, which is right near the post office, right behind the school. Anyway, so, but now I live in LA, and I usually come home twice a year, usually Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I've been living there since I was 21. I graduated high school in '96, moved to LA in '99, and then I've been there since. And I worked for Disney, and then I worked for an independent film company called Focus Features, and then now I work for Warner Brothers. So I don't know if you guys saw Blood Diamond. That was the movie I did last. Oh, you saw it last night?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last big movie I worked on. We just finished another movie. So in the last year, I've been working on this movie that'll come out in May, and it's called Recount, and it's about the Bush-Gore recount of 2000 in Florida. I don't know if many of you remember that. So we basically did a movie about that, starring Kevin Spacey, older actors, and Dennis Leary, some of those guys. So we just finished it 2 months ago. We were shooting from August to November, and that's going to be coming out in May. So we're editing the whole movie right now. And then I was just telling your teacher, I'm working on a pretty big movie right now. See, Blood Diamond took 4.5 years to make. Like, that was a big movie for us. This movie, Recount, took us about a year to make. It wasn't that big of a movie. But this next movie that I'm working on, called Thundercats, I don't know, have you ever heard of the TV show Thundercats? Yeah. Yeah. So we're making a movie out of it. It's going to be like X-Men. It's going to be a little bit like Transformers. So it's going to be pretty big. And we just got the director. And he's actually never made a movie before. But do any of you play video games? Well, he created the video game Gears of War. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but this guy, he created the video game, and so he's actually going to direct the Thundercats movie. Right now we're just literally starting the whole process, and it's going to take 16 months to make this movie. And we have a release date, 4th of July, 2009. So it's going to come out. So most of you will be out of high school by then. But so we're working on that right now. Literally what we're doing is right now we got the script done. We have a writer who wrote the entire script. And what we're doing now is we're looking at the old characters from the old TV show. And we have about 65 artists. And what they're doing is they're recreating the characters. So they're going to recreate how the characters are going to look. They're actually designing the vehicles and the weapons that these characters are going to use. We just got Rachel McAdams to play one of the characters. So basically that's what we're doing right now. This is the first movie I've ever done that actually has this much special effects. And I don't really play video games. And so working with Jerry who created Gears of War, I've never played his video game before. I've seen the images and I've seen all the work that he's done, but I've never played his game before. But Jerry's more tapped into this world. What I bring to the table is the story itself. I worked with the writer for about 8-9 months now on the story, generating the characters, the conflict, the plot, all that stuff. So working on Thundercats right now. And then there's a few other movies that I'm working on, but they're not as far along. Thundercats is going to be PG-13. The other movies I'm working on are pretty R. One's a mafia movie in the vein of The Departed. Another one is a female empowerment movie in the vein of Aaron Brockovich. Another one is a big, this other one that I'm working on is really big, but it's not really my movie, it's my boss's movie. It's called 1906, and it's about the San Francisco earthquake of 1906, and basically it's going to be like Titanic. It's going to be massive, 3 hours long, love story. The guy who's directing it is Brad Bird. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he directed Ratatouille, and he directed The Incredibles. So he's going to direct this movie for us. And Pixar is actually going to do it. And it's going to be Pixar's first live action movie. I don't know what you guys want to do. You know, if you guys want to work in the movie business, you guys want to work in the TV business, LA is very big in the movie, TV, and music industries. And one of the things that I didn't realize when I was at OTN, I didn't realize how many different opportunities there are in movies. Because when you go and see a movie, you don't really know. You see a list of 150 names at the end of a movie, and you don't really know what these people do. But there are so many different kinds of jobs on a movie set. Literally, when I go on set, on Blood Diamond, we had 475 people work on that movie. And everyone had incredibly important responsibilities, down to rigging cables and wires. They were called grips. To the cinematographer, who's one of the most important people on a set, the production designer, the editor, the costume designer, the storyboard artist. You obviously have the cast, you have the makeup, you have the director, you have the producers. Usually there's 3, 4, 5 producers. There's a lot of different kinds of producers. I would say that, if you want to get into this business, the two cities you got to almost kind of start in is New York or LA.
I know that acting and like becoming a producer is a very small chance in like a lot of areas. Like becoming one is very tough. Did you have anyone backing you or like helping you out, or did you kind of have to go on your own? Nobody supported you.
No, it was hard. And I'll tell you why it was hard though. Well, my first internship was in Philadelphia, right? And the reason why it was difficult, a couple of reasons. One was I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. For example, I knew I wanted to work in Hollywood, and I knew I wanted to work in the movie business, but I had no idea what specifically I would or could do in the movie business. So I had to find an internship in Philadelphia that somehow involved the movie business. So for me, I had to call up 15, 20, 25 different places in and around the city and figure out where I could intern and if that company or that place somehow did something in the movie business. So it took me about 5 or 6 months to find the right internship. I got to be honest with you, my school did nothing for me to help me on that. It was more going out on my own, making calls on my own, calling up friends, Hey, did you hear about this company? Do you know what they do? Do you know what this other company does? Going to places, literally, getting in my car and driving to a place and, asking around, asking questions. Producing is not tough. It's really not. It's about how hard you work. I think all of you can become producers if you like movies, if you like networking, and if you like working with other people.
I always want to know in movies where they have, for example, like mall scenes and the actors are in there and then they have people walking by. Are those people actors or are they just people walking by in the mall for real?
No, they're what's called extras. And they actually get paid for what they do. There's there are companies, there are actually companies in Philadelphia. If you ever want like a part-time job or something, there are companies out there that are called Extras Casting. Sometimes they change, their names are a little different, but they are companies literally that call random people up and say, hey, do you want to be in a movie? We'll pay you $100 a day to sit or stand in a background.
Do you think it's easier to work with like adults or when there's like children on the set? Is it harder or?
Yeah, it's very hard working with children on set because children have completely different laws and regulations. For example, a child always has to have a tutor on set, so you have to pay extra. Children are more expensive than adults. And also, children can't work more than, I believe it's 8 hours. You cannot give a child overtime. And by a child, I mean under 18. So you can't have them work overtime because a lot of times on movie shoots, you'll go for 10, 12, 14 hours, and Matt Damon will be fine shooting 14 hours a day, but if someone under 18, you can't.
So if you're a producer or anything like in the movie business and you decide you want to also do acting with it, is it easier to like break into the business than if you just came off the street or
Like if you're a producer like you are right now or anything and you decide you want to also start acting, would it be easier for you to do that?
No, it would be just the same, because you have to prove yourself all over again in a completely different field. So, I mean, producers like put themselves in cameos, in their movies. Like you wouldn't even notice or recognize them, almost as like extras, not even a line. But just because you're a producer, like Jerry Bruckheimer, one of the biggest producers in Hollywood, if he decided tomorrow he wanted to be an actor, it doesn't work like that. No one's going to put him in their movie as an actor because, he's really not an actor.
How hard was it to get your first internship? Like, was it really like a challenge, or did you just have to like sign a like?
No, it was hard. And I'll tell you why it was hard though. Well, my first internship was in Philadelphia, right? And the reason why it was difficult, a couple of reasons. One was I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. For example, I knew I wanted to work in Hollywood, and I knew I wanted to work in the movie business, but I had no idea what specifically I would or could do in the movie business. So I had to find an internship in Philadelphia that somehow involved the movie business. So for me, I had to call up 15, 20, 25 different places in and around the city and figure out where I could intern and if that company or that place somehow did something in the movie business. So it took me about 5 or 6 months to find the right internship.
Last year, I went on the set of Ugly Betty. Yeah, and I didn't. There were like the little boy on the show. I don't know. He actually used to live around here or whatever, but there was like drama on the set about who got like more lines, whether the little boy did or like the actress that played his mom, and I didn't really understand how they like dealt with that or who dealt with it when things happen like that.
That happens a lot. Usually the actors will complain that they want more screen time. They basically want to be in front of the camera more, So if they only have 2 lines on that show, they'll complain to the director or they'll complain to the producer. Ultimately, it's the producer's job to settle the argument, and the producer decides what the solution is.
Ever been to any award shows, any big ones, and is TV production a lot different than movie production?
Yeah, I've been to the Emmys. I've been to the Oscars. I've been to teen awards. I've been to award shows. I've never been nominated for anything, and I don't think I ever will. But aside from that, TV production, it is far different from movie production. Now, there's several kinds of TV production. There's reality television. I don't know if you watch any reality shows, but like The Amazing Race or America's Next Top Model, or reality programming is far different from scripted programming.
Was there ever a time, like in your entire career, when you ever just wanted to pack up the car and go back to Bensalem, just like quit, like you were just that put down, like something didn't go your way, or along those lines?
Yeah, I think there were a couple times during the first year I was in LA. Was the hardest year in my life probably, because the idea of being broke, not having any money, and not having any friends, and being in a city that you don't really know, there were times where it was really tough. And I had left all my friends behind. They were all back in Philly, or had moved to New York. And so there were some difficult periods that I went through by myself. But I realized that at the end of the day, how bad do I really want this?
Have you seen the movie, the movie Scream?
Yes.
Okay, when she's, I think she's like on the phone or something, and she's on the set of like the movie that they're shooting in the movie, and it's like the house. Is that really how they shoot the movies, or is it like a real house that they're actually shooting in?
It's kind of both. Sometimes they shoot at a real house. Like if you lived in LA,